Have you ever looked at a shattered mirror and tried to piece the glass back together, only to end up with bleeding hands? If you are feeling exhausted from constantly chasing an illusion of a flawless life, if you are quietly carrying the heavy burden of trying to be perfect for everyone else while your own soul is fracturing, then sit down, let your shoulders drop, take a deep, slow breath. This quiet moment, this story, is entirely for you. Elias was a man who measured his life in millimeters. As one of the city's most celebrated architects, his world was defined by absolute symmetry, pristine white marble, and flawless glass facades that reflected the sky without a single ripple. To Elias, perfection was not just a design principle, it was a religion. He believed that if he could just arrange everything in his life with mathematical precision, he could keep the chaos of the world at bay. But this obsession did not stop at his drafting table. It bled into his home, seeping into the very foundations of his family. His house, a masterpiece of modern minimalism, felt more like a museum than a sanctuary. His wife's spontaneous laughter was often met with a slight frown if it disrupted the quiet elegance of an evening. His young daughter, Lily, learned to walk on tiptoes, terrified of leaving a fingerprint on the immaculate glass tables or misplacing a cushion on the perfectly structured sofa. In his relentless pursuit of a flawless life, Elias had unknowingly built walls of ice around his heart, freezing out the very people who tried to warm it. Eventually, the chill became too much to bear. Unable to breathe in a space where there was no room for human error, his wife and daughter left. They didn't leave with shouting or shattered plates. They left quietly, like warmth fading from a room when the fire goes out. Elias told himself he was fine. He had his work, his pristine sanctuary, his undisturbed symmetry. But life, in its profound and often ruthless wisdom, has a way of dismantling the very things we cling to the most. It began as a subtle blurring at the edges of his vision, a slight dimming of the light. Within 2 years, a rare and aggressive degenerative condition had stolen Elias's sight completely. The architect of light and space was plunged into absolute, inescapable darkness. He sat silently by the window, letting the darkness gradually swallow the room. Inside his chest, a storm was quietly tearing him apart. The silence of his perfect, empty house was no longer elegant. It was deafening. He would pace the flawless hardwood floors, his bare feet feeling the cold, unforgiving reality of the empire he had built. Every sharp corner of his bespoke furniture, designed for aesthetic brilliance, now bruised his shins and battered his body. He was a prisoner in a flawless cage of his own making. He felt entirely useless, discarded like a broken tool. What is an architect who cannot see? What is a man who drove away his family to protect a perfection that no longer existed? He was sinking into a heavy, suffocating despair, convinced that because he was now broken, he was no longer worthy of life. Then came a rainy Tuesday afternoon. The sound of the doorbell echoed through the hollow halls, startling him. He fumbled his way to the door, hands trembling as he unlocked it. He heard the unmistakable, gentle rustle of a raincoat, and then a small, hesitant voice. "Daddy?" It was Lily. She had come to visit him for his birthday. He heard the squelch of her wet rubber boots stepping directly onto his pristine entryway floor, a sound that once would have sent a spike of anxiety through his chest. Now, it sounded like a lifeline thrown into a turbulent sea. "I brought you something," she whispered, her voice laced with the old fear of doing something wrong. I made it in art class. Mom said I could bring it to you. Elias knelt down, reaching out into the dark void. Small, warm hands met his, pressing an object into his palms. It was heavy. "Thank you, Lily," he choked out, his voice rough from disuse. He sat on the floor, right there in the hallway, crossing his legs, and began to explore his gift with his fingertips. It was a cup made of fired clay. But as his highly sensitive fingers traced its surface, his architectural mind immediately registered its complete lack of symmetry. The rim was uneven, undulating like a rough ocean wave. The body of the cup leaned slightly to the left. The surface was bumpy, coarse in some places, and overly slick in others, where the glaze had clearly pooled too thickly. And then, his thumb found a deep indentation on the side. He traced it slowly. It wasn't a design choice. It was the exact shape of a small child's thumb, pressed too hard into the wet clay while trying to shape it. Beside it, his fingers brushed against a thin, jagged ridge, a crack in the clay that had been baked into the ceramic, patched over clumsily with extra glaze. For a man who had dedicated his entire existence to eradicating flaws, this cup was an absolute disaster. It defied every rule of proportion, balance, and aesthetic grace. Yet, as Elias sat in the dark, his thumb resting perfectly inside the imprint of his daughter's thumb, something inside him shattered. The thick, icy walls he had spent a lifetime building finally cracked wide open. He didn't feel the coldness of perfect marble or the sterile smoothness of glass. He felt the trembling effort of a little girl trying to mold the earth. He felt the warmth of her hands, the frustration she must have felt when the clay sagged, the innocent hope she carried as she painted over the crack. He felt her love, messy, imperfect, and overwhelmingly real. Tears, hot and heavy, began to fall from his sightless eyes. They dropped onto the rough, uneven rim of the clay cup, soaking into the unglazed patches. He pulled the clumsy, asymmetrical piece of earth to his chest and wept. He wept for the years he had wasted chasing an illusion. He wept for the pain he had caused in the name of flawlessness. In that profound, breathtaking moment of stillness, Elias awoke. The storm of his ego dissipated, leaving a quiet, vast sky within his mind. He realized that true beauty is never found in the absence of flaws. True beauty, true connection, and true happiness reside precisely within the cracks. This is the ancient wisdom of wabi-sabi, the gentle art of finding beauty in the imperfect, the impermanent, and the incomplete. In our modern lives, we are so often like the old Elias. We live in a society that demands a flawless facade. We curate our images, we hide our failures, we swallow our tears, and we exhaust ourselves trying to build a perfectly symmetrical life. We are terrified that if anyone sees our cracks, our vulnerabilities, our failures, we will be deemed unlovable or unworthy. We treat our emotional wounds as shameful secrets to be covered up. But think of a river. A river does not flow in a straight, mathematically perfect line. It bends, it curves around obstacles, it crashes against jagged rocks. And it is precisely that turbulent journey that gives the river its beautiful, roaring song. Think of the lotus flower. It does not grow in crystal clear, sterile water. It roots itself deep in the dark, suffocating mud. It pushes through the muck and the filth to bloom under the sun. The mud does not stain the lotus. it nourishes it. Without the mud, there is no flower. Without our struggles, our deep pains, and our shattered moments, there is no true compassion, no profound understanding of joy. The cracks in your soul, the mistakes you have made, the heartbreaks that have left you feeling asymmetrical and rough around the edges, these are not things to be hidden. As the poet said, there is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in. When we drop the heavy armor of perfection, when we finally allow ourselves to be human, clumsy, vulnerable, and beautifully flawed, we create space for others to do the same. We stop judging, and we start loving. Elias found his salvation not when he was building flawless skyscrapers, but when he sat broken in the dark, holding a lopsided clay cup, finally allowing himself to feel the warmth of an imperfect world. If you are carrying a heart that feels cracked and weary today, please know this: true happiness is not the absence of flaws, but the gentle, courageous embrace of your own brokenness. It is the deep peace that comes after the storm, when you look at the debris of your expectations and decide to build something new, not perfect, but real. You are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the exact same time. I wish you the stillness to hear your own heart, the courage to embrace your rough edges, and the deep, abiding peace that comes from simply being enough, just as you are. If this story has touched a quiet corner of your soul, please share it with someone who might be carrying a heavy burden of perfection today. What is one flaw in yourself or your life that you can choose to embrace with love today? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can continue to walk this healing path together. Until next time, breathe deeply and be kind to yourself.